Ready?
I am all set whenever you are.
Okay, thank you. Lalish, how is the polling going on, sir? I think Kentucky in 3%, 7%. Trump is leading, Biden is leading now.
I am all.
Sir.
Yeah.
మీరు కొంచెం సెంటర్కి వచ్చేసి గెస్ట్ ని కొంచెం ఫ్రేమ్ రొటేట్ చేసుకున్నారా?
1 second. What is that?
ఫ్రేమ్ వర్టికల్ గా పెట్టుకోమనండి.
John, can you tilt the phone towards the landscape more like this, not the straight, like this?
There we go. Better?
Yes.
Okay.
మన షో తర్వాతనే కదా సార్ ఇప్పుడు మళ్ళీ స్టార్ట్ అయ్యేది?
1 second. Yeah, what is that question, Lalish?
మనకి ఈ షో అయిపోయిన తర్వాతనే కదా మనకు నెక్స్ట్ స్టార్ట్ అయ్యేది కంటిన్యూస్.
Yeah, somebody else has come.
Okay.
Admitted. Hi Trishul, how are you?
Hello, namaste Andy.
Namaste. And we have John here from Virginia's congressional district. He is contesting. He's a physician from Kentucky, John.
Okay. Hi John, how are you?
Good. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Are you in the car?
Yes, we are.
All right. That's a little different, but that's fine.
Yeah,
we've been 6 o'clock this morning doing all.
Yeah, your audio is breaking, John.
That's okay because he is driving. Sometimes I think there will be.
Can you hear me any better?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Lalish, you can go.
ఒక 1 minute సార్ D5 ఇస్తున్నాను.
Okay, fine.
మీరు ఫ్రేమ్ సెంటర్ చేసుకోరా సార్?
నా frame na? Okay, that's okay because I want to keep the other one, our sponsor name visible.
కొంచెమే ఎక్కువ.
Okay. You keep watching. 2-3 more people keep coming. Okay, Lalish.
Okay.
You made me co-host, right?
Yeah, I already co-host.
Okay.
Where exactly are you working, John, in Kentucky?
No. He's not in Kentucky. He's in Virginia City, Congressional District 7, right? Yeah, he's a candidate from Virginia City 7,
Right.
from Republican Party.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I worked in Norton, Virginia.
Okay, where are right near the North Carolina border in southeastern Virginia.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I live in Johnson City, Tennessee, so very close. Yeah.
సార్ స్టార్ట్ అవుతుందండి.
Sure, okay.
స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది. రెడీ కదా మీరు?
Yeah, I'm ready.
అవును అదే స్టార్ట్ మీరు ఓకే అంటే నేను వీళ్ళు స్టార్ట్ చేస్తాను. యా రెడీ సార్?
Yes.
30 seconds.
Yes.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good evening. Welcome back to Election Night Spotlight. Today we have with us John from Virginia City 7. His election is just now completed and he is waiting for results. And we have Trishul, and then other guests are going to join soon. America is going for an unprecedented turnout of voters. I think the highest number of voters turned out in John Kennedy and the Nixon election in 1964. And then people, it's expected that this election is going to have even more. Already 100,000 people have voted as on yesterday. And today, more than 138 million people are supposed to cast their votes. I think already early counting has already been started. And the trends are not really very indicative of what will be the outcome. Here we have John. John, tell us about how your Virginia state is faring.
Well, it's been quite a day. There's been a number, large number of people that voted early, more than ever before, obviously. And we're looking at as many as 100,000 additional voters in our district alone. And it's really looking positive for us. Obviously, we're not going to have the numbers for a couple hours at the earliest. But there have been an incredible number of people who traditionally vote Democrat who came up to us and said, I vote Democrat, but you've got a good platform, you've got a good plan, I'm voting for you. And then we've had a very large number of people who don't vote traditionally, a lot of hunters, a lot of Second Amendment rights folks who came out to vote too. So today was just really a very heartwarming day. I am cautiously optimistic that we're going to win it. But again, we're not going to know for sure for a few more hours.
I just am going to play a video now, and then I want to ask you some question. I think people are expecting some unprecedented violence in the major cities like New York, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and then a host of other cities. Let me play the video, and then I'll ask you some questions on that, John, as well as Trishul. Trishul, sure. How is before we go that? How is voting in Kentucky?
We're in Virginia.
No, I'm asking Trishul.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm in Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah, but I work in Virginia. You see, when it comes to Virginia, the hotspots are around DC area, Herndon. In that area where a lot of urban population is. It all depends on how much rural Virginians are going to come out and vote this time. So, just generally speaking, the Republican registration in Virginia and Tennessee has been much higher than Democratic this year.
So let's watch the video.
I think the volume is, I'm not able to hear it.
They did try to dress things up a bit by painting the plywood blue. At this command center in New York, security expert Pat Brosnan keeps a watchful eye on his clients' businesses.
We have a range of factors that are all contributing to the likelihood of a significant increase in violent behavior, particularly gun violence. That's the real trouble. That's what has people worried to death.
Cliff Kahn owns Lexington Lumber, and he says he's never been busier. And what are people saying to you when they're coming in?
Just getting ready for what happens tomorrow. Hopefully nothing.
At the White House, a non-scalable fence is being erected. The National Guard is on red alert if there's any attempt to storm the grounds. Even swanky Beverly Hills, scene of several violent confrontations, is bracing for the worst. Jim Moret.
Yes, that is what America is going up to. Tell us in your opinion, John, what's going to happen. This kind of violence we have seen in third world countries are the expectation of violence. Most of the time in third world countries, the violence happened during the election campaign, but not many times after the election. But now, what could be the factors that might, if at all, there is going to have some incidents like this that affect this violence, that contribute to the violence, John?
Well, I think really what's going to contribute to the violence is these groups, these Marxist groups that are not going to get their way when President Trump wins, when Republicans take back the House and keep the Senate. We've seen what they've done all summer long, and I think they really want to scare people and terrorize them into changing our form of government. And that is literally the definition of terrorism. So I think we're going to see some of that, hopefully not nearly as much as most people expect, but I think we're going to see it in cities such as Portland, Seattle, Chicago, Baltimore, and hopefully very few more than that. But we have to, at the same time, when this violence erupts, them local governments and them state governments have to put their foot down. Them governors and them mayors have to grow a spine, and they've got to protect their citizens.
Mm-hmm. There were some videos surfaced that the Republicans are also, some people are also piling up guns as well as ammunition in defense of things. Is that true?
Could you say that again?
Some Republican folks, the Trump supporters, are piling up guns as well as ammunition to fight against these people.
No, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of people that are, stocking up on ammunition, not to go out in the offensive, but to defend their own homes. I know a few friends of mine. I'm within the 2A community. I own guns. Most of my friends own guns, and all of us have bought ammunition because it's so scarce. So we're buying it and we're holding it in hopes that we never have to use it. But for me personally, I will only use it in the defense of my family within my home.
Mhm. Trishul, do you see any such incidents in your state?
No, we've been fortunate. We did have a little bit of violence in my district, but the great people of that particular city were able to stave it off. And it's just the city stayed very peaceful. So I don't see any in our area at all.
Mhm. Trishul, yourself, like from your state, do you see any problems?
No, I do not see. I think the major problem is going to be in the Democratic-run states. Illinois and especially Chicago, New York, Portland, Seattle, DC. These are the areas that I feel there's going to be a lot of violence. But as far as in rural America, everyone owns a gun, but they're not intending to use it for any other than self-protection. So my only fear is that if Trump wins, there might be a lot of riots, and I hope it doesn't come into a situation where he has to enact a martial law, because it is serious. The radical left are crazy and they're going out of their mind. And so I just hope that it doesn't come to that situation and this becomes a Trump landslide re-election victory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll hope so. Meanwhile, see, why did this violence, or when did this violence start? Like as of I know, I think in 2016 when Hillary Clinton never wanted to concede the defeat, like she never came out to give her a defeat speech, we can say. So ever since that this has started, I think, your opinion please, but people throw the blame on Trump. She never accepted her defeat, and then she never wanted to come, and DNC chairman came and then gave the remarks.
I mean, Black Lives Matter, as when George Floyd's death happened, we all felt bad for what happened and everything. But there is some evidence saying that Black Lives Matters is being sponsored by the Chinese Communist government, and if you see the riots. Before the riots, there have been bricks put, in a stacked way in all these cities where the violence is. So where did it start? I think the DNC is enabling this violence. Trump is going to win, but now they're going to say it's voter suppression, fraud, and everything. And the mainstream media is creating a division, especially with all these polls, very inaccurate polls. So all these high hopes, and now suddenly Trump is going to win, and suddenly this violence is going to start. So I think I blame DNC and mainstream media for exaggerating the outcomes and for violence.
John, when do you think? Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say I would have to agree, but I do believe it's more the media than the DNC, and then more than the average Democrat, because I have talked to so many Democrats today who are still voting for Biden, very good people, and they sincerely believe what they're told by the media.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We have another guest, Dave. How are you, Dave? Dave, welcome to the show. Okay, when do you think this violence during when the presidential results were declared, the violence is expected to evoke today and tomorrow? So people are getting ready, and then shops are boarding up and things like that is happening in America, which we have never seen except for storms. So your opinion on this one?
Right. So as we saw after the 2016 elections, that a lot of violence broke out on the streets, the kind of violence that the American people had never seen before after a new president-elect was chosen. So it took a lot of people by surprise, and then those people are now not ready to lose anymore to street violence. That is the reason why the regular American wants to save his last dollar. And we have seen a lot of really boarding up from sea to signing she, and then be it New York, San Francisco, and we have seen those videos everywhere where people have just locked up their shops, boarded up, made sure that nobody can break in. Krishna.
Okay. What do we expect tomorrow, John? Like as people who hope for always good, what should we expect tomorrow? The result comes in Trump way or Biden way?
Well, I think we're going to have some protests. There's no doubt about that. And there's going to be some violence in some of those cities that I mentioned earlier. But, you know, most Americans just want to live in peace. They want to be left alone to be able to do what they want to do. So I think for the most part around the country, it's going to be very, very peaceful. But the media is going to focus again on those few cities that are, you know, left-wing cities and the violence that occurs there. And most of the time it's going to be in one or two blocks, but they're going to make it seem like it's the entire city that's burning down. So most Americans are good people, the vast majority, and I think it's going to be very safe for nearly everybody.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to play a very interesting video, where the Squad 5 is talking in concert with Bernie Sanders. Let's have a watch of that video and then we'll speak again. I'm sharing the video.
More evidence the far left is ready to hijack a Joe Biden presidency if he wins. Bernie Sanders with this message to the Squad.
We understand that electing Biden is not the end all, it is the beginning. Biden's proposals in this campaign are a lot stronger than they were in the primary. Do they go as far as we would want? No, they don't. We're not giving up on our agenda. We're going to introduce Medicare for all. Believe me, we are. Green New Deal. We ain't giving up on that. We organize our people to make sure that Biden becomes the most progressive president since FDR.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is the problem. This is why Trump is going to win, because the left wing, the Democratic Party has shifted so far left that American people are not ready for this. This is not the same Democratic Party of John F. Kennedy. I mean, and Medicare for all. The left-wing Democratic Party, they're good people. They want to do good. They're eager to, they have the egalitarian kind of concept. But I'll tell you, 70% of America is on some kind of medication or not, whether it's for hypertension or diabetes. 60% of America is in psychiatric meds. So what will if the Medicare for all goes through? It's going to bankrupt the United States. We are not a European country where majority of our population is healthy. So instead of Medicare for all, what I suggest is primary care for all. Prevention is better than cure. Let's do Bernie Sanders and the whole Democratic Party has gone off the rails as far as I'm concerned.
John, you have seen that video presented by Fox. It's quite interesting. Go ahead. And you must have seen, I'm sorry for interrupting, you must have seen the Squad faces were lighting like anything. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, John.
Yeah, when I see that, it reminds me, of Vladimir Lenin. And I think Bernie Sanders would have fit perfectly into the revolution. And that's what he's trying to do here. In a more majestic type of way. And when you look at the women that he had on there, them women all advocate for the same things that the communists advocated for 100 years ago. And so that's the danger that we face right now. If people don't understand their history, we're doomed to repeat it. And that's where we are right now. We're 100 years from the Russian Revolution. And I hate to think that could happen here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, you're right.
Yeah, Dave, your opinion on the video. We have seen how the Democratic Party is being pulled towards far left, and then if it goes far left, and then God forbid if Biden wins, what would happen?
I mean, the fact that the Zoom call was happening even before the election results were declared shows that how far the left is actually willing to go. I mean, there is no middle ground left right now. The choice has to be either this way or that for most Americans. That's how I feel about this.
Do you think, John, like, see, assume that for a second, Biden is going to win and then Sanders is going to hijack the whole government, assume that. Will Obama's and other people who are center Democrats or rather Democratic Democrats, will they be able to control Biden or they will not be able to?
I think they've got control of Biden. I'm going to be completely honest. I believe that he is under control of the people that pay him. They can blackmail him. He could never get a government clearance today with the amount of information that the Ukrainians, that the Chinese, and God knows who else has on him. He sold our country out for millions and millions of dollars. And if we elect him, then, you know, our country is in dire, dire danger, because he will not stand up to Russia, and he will definitely not stand up to China. He'll give away the kitchen sink to China.
Okay, let us take a brief break for about 1 minute. Let us play the ads of our sponsors.
Hey bro, go for what you know. Bass getting low, we rock the show. Hey bro, go for what you know. Bass getting low and we rock the show. Hey bro, go for what you know. Bass getting low and
Easy Jobs, the best blue-collar job portal for a reason. Actually, many reasons. Find people around you. Chat in your own language.
Thank you.
One-tap interviews. And so much more. Download.
From the people you need to the jobs you want, and everything in between. Find jobs on Easy Jobs.
We need to make something for right here.
Okay, welcome back. Welcome back to the show. Again, like we have lot of things that are coming in the way of Joe Biden, and then Trump has really been fighting. Yesterday, I have seen Joe Biden speaking in a this one saying that Trump is losing his mind. In fact, Obama is trying to tell that Trump is not the right person, and then we should not vote for him, and then by tomorrow something is going to happen, and then everybody will be fine. So that's what Obama is doing it. And did ever any ex-president campaign for a presidential candidate, John?
Oh, yeah. Other former presidents have always done that. What I find very interesting here, though, is I first voted in 1980 for Ronald Reagan. And went after him, not nearly as hard as they went after Trump. But then they went after George H.W. Bush. And when they could stop him because he signed a tax increase that he pledged never to sign, they were nice to him. Then they went after his son, who they equated to Hitler. And going after Trump even more ferociously. Okay, so they have increased their attacks on Republicans. So I don't care if the Republican president that was elected in 2016 was Donald Trump or was somebody else. The vitriol against that person would have been identical to what the president is facing. The fortunate thing for us is we have a president with a spine. We have a president that will stand up for what he believes and will not cower to the threats of the Democrats. But I guarantee, when Trump finishes the next 4 years, the next Republican president, we're going to be told by the mainstream media, he's even worse than Trump. And that is their playbook. We're going to see that for years to come.
Your opinion on why Obama is canvassing for Biden, not Biden himself, Joe? I'm sorry, Dave.
Sure. I think all things said, Obama is a far eloquent speaker than Biden. And regarding the earlier thing you said, I think Joe Biden is the last person who should accuse anybody else of losing their minds.
Yes.
Because right. What he has said in the past has clearly, it's not just been incoherent. It's not just been gaffes, but he has actually lied. He has lied about fracking, and he has lied about multiple other things. And I think it is not just a fluke, but a conscious decision by the Democratic Party to put Obama's face instead of Joe Biden as far as the campaigns go.
Yeah, President Obama is not doing a favor for Joe Biden by campaigning for him. The reason President Trump got elected was because of Obama's policies. So he's doing a disservice. Great. I hope he campaigns even more, and well, it's too late now, but Obama's policies have been very detrimental to this country. Obamacare, oh my God, this is a disaster as far as physicians are concerned and everything. Obama is not going to help Biden win this election. In fact, it's going to hurt him.
So we have collected some videos on Joe versus Joe. Let me play those videos, and they're a little bit funny, but yet tell what's inside the mind of Joe. Thanks for our team doing this. Let me again share the screen.
Of this nation, our standing in the world, our very democracy, everything that has made America, America is at stake. That's why today I'm announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
From the minute Joe Biden sets foot onto the campaign trail, he is the person to beat. The question is whether one of these 19 other candidates emerges as his chief adversary, or whether his biggest obstacle will be Joe Biden himself.
The Taoiseach knows a lot about it. His mom lived in Long Island for 10 years or so. God rest her soul. And although your mom's still alive as your dad passed. God bless her soul.
He is now the front runner because he is a household name.
They put one foot in front of the other. They keep going. That's the unbreakable spirit of the people of America.
And also he brings a much broader set of policy experiences to the table than really any other candidate.
I believe we have so botched this policy, so botched the opportunities to move on the Sandinista government.
The SNL scandal, we need not tell anyone, is the biggest white-collar ripoff in this nation's history.
Judge, if I look only at what you've said and written, as used to happen in the past, I would have to vote no.
For all the respect that he is given as the elder statesman, if you look back at Joe Biden's previous races, his 1988 bid flamed out in the middle of a plagiarism scandal. In 2008, he won exactly 4% of the vote in the Iowa caucuses. There is a lack of message discipline.
The next Vice President of the United States of America, Joe Biden.
I remember in the 2008 campaign, after the Obama team put him on the ticket, at a fundraiser late in the campaign, he went so far as to apocalyptically almost predict there would be a major international crisis. This was one of those moments tailor-made for a Saturday Night Live parody.
Mark my words, if you take away nothing else from what I say here today, or indeed in this entire campaign, remember this: If Barack Obama is elected, we will have a crisis.
There are some episodes that he is going to have to explain in greater detail. His handling of the Senate Judiciary Committee and its treatment of Anita Hill. In recent months, we saw a bunch of incidents unearthed where he made women uncomfortable. He is, in his own words, a very tactile guy.
You know, social norms have begun to change, they've shifted, and the boundaries of protecting personal space have been reset. And I get it. I get it.
But then, within a day or two, he was joking about it.
I just want you to know I had permission to hug Lonnie.
Which really made people wonder, did he really get the message? The question is whether Biden can really adapt to what politics is, what politics has become. It's not so much that he will seem old.
So that is the kind of Joe that media is projecting and the Democratic Party is projecting to be the candidate. Why? What is the theory behind projecting or electing that kind of a person to be the president? That too versus against a very strong and then very vocal president like Trump. Your views, John?
Again, I think the videos actually speak for themselves. You know, he is somebody that will say anything without care, knowing that the press is going to protect him. He knows, you know, that Democrats are going to vote for him solely because he has a D next to his name. So, you know, Joe Biden, if he was a Republican, my goodness, he would not see the light of day on a ballot. But because he's a Democrat and he espouses what the Democratic establishment wants him to espouse, they will forgive him all of his gaffes. And boy, does he have plenty of them.
Okay. You have any views, Trishul? Why Joe Biden has been picked up?
Yeah, I mean, he has name recognition. That's the only reason he got it picked up. You know, he has name recognition. If you compare who else, I mean, they could have gone with Bernie Sanders, who would have given a tough fight for President Trump, just because he has enthusiasm. He has a voter base with enthusiastic voter base. But this guy is a low energy guy. Not only that, I mean, it doesn't need a doctor to realize that this guy is shot. I mean, he should be in a nursing home drinking soup with his assisted living nurse, Kamala Harris. He cannot run this country, the greatest country in the world. So the Democratic Party has made a huge mistake by getting President Biden. He's from 1974 till 2020. You know, tell me name some policies which he has enacted that really benefited the American population. You know, suddenly now in 2020, from 1974 to 2020, he's going to change the world and he's going to become this great savior of this nation. No, come on, this is all. John said that he doesn't think the DNC is the problem and the mainstream media, but what I say is that the DNC is involved with the mainstream media. All these establishments all involved, together. They're colluding. If you see CNN or MSNBC or MSDNC, as President Trump calls, this is not journalism. This is just, this is another wing of the Democratic Party.
Okay. John is going to leave. He has another meeting to jump in. You have any final remarks before you leave, John?
You know, I just want to say thank you. And I think I did misspeak when I said it wasn't the DNC. It actually is. It's the average Democrat voter who I meant really is not a bad person. They're all good Americans. But you're right. The DNC in conjunction with the media is the problem. Again, gentlemen, I really appreciate you having me on here. I love it. And I hope to be on again with you sometime.
Okay, all the best, John. I think I'll see you as a congressman tomorrow.
Good luck, John.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great luck, John.
Dave, why you think that the Democratic Party has chosen Joe, in spite of Joe is what he is.
I have a very short point to make on that. See, Donald Trump has said some regrettably very harsh things about women, and a few audio clippings of which surfaced before the 2016 elections.
Only Rosie O'Donnell. Only Rosie.
And he got away with those two words, which was again a masterstroke, I think. Right. So even that would look like nothing in comparison to what Mr. Biden has done to women, or the things he has said, or his entire body language, even in public. And that tells you a little bit about how selective the media are about something so sensitive as women. I mean, not women in particular, but decency before women. And that tells you how deep the rot is within the media and how much in collusion they are with the DNC. Krishna.
Okay. Indiana is already reporting out of 9% votes. Trump is leading. Okay. Joe Biden is 32.7%. And it is same is the case in New Hampshire also. Let's see more news as it comes. So the next topic is what we are going to speak is like if Joe Biden wins, what will happen to the big tech companies? And if Trump wins, what will happen to the big tech companies? Because like tech companies are playing much bigger role than the citizens of America in these elections. And in fact, they are creating their own nations, and I call them as alternations. Okay. So your views, Trishul, about the big tech companies and then possible influence on the outcome. Forget about Iran and then Russia, as people are saying that they are indulging in elections, including China. Big tech companies are heavily involved. Okay, your opinion on this?
Yeah. I mean, you're right, 100%. These big tech companies have gone out of hand. They've gone out of hand. How can you silence the president of the United States? How can you silence the press secretary, Ms. McEnany, on her Twitter? It's just incredible. I cannot even understand the audacity of them to silence the president of the United States. For example, I'll give you an example. I personally am blocked from posting on Facebook because I have differing views. So for 1 month, I can't post on Facebook. They censored me. This is not the first time, because I write something about Trump or I disagree against the lockdowns, and someone complains and they censor me. So if Trump wins, he has to enact on this. I feel like a big tech company, internet needs to be a public utility. That means that the freedom of speech and expression has to be across the board when it comes to internet also, not just publicly. So if Biden wins, I don't think it to tell you the truth, everyone is unhappy with big tech companies, and they have a lot of power and they're using it because on Twitter, on YouTube, I personally am seeing my comments are being deleted. Yeah, big tech. I hope President Trump wins, and he's going to take care of these big tech companies, because this is a huge problem when it comes to First Amendment.
Dave.
I mean, what's there to say? They don't even pretend to be neutral anymore. Even that pretension is gone. And then I had to look at that Ted Cruz whacking that he gave to Jack Dorsey of Twitter. And here is somebody who does not believe in basic freedom of speech. And that's in total violation of the American principles, I think. And however many policies or documents they cite, all of them have flimsy ground, and all of them have, they seem to be designed to go after people with one particular set of ideas and beliefs. So it's gone out of hand. Kudos to Trump for calling a spade on that front, but I think now he needs to do a little more. He needs to go beyond just name calling and take actions that brings this kind of big tech companies in line, because now, frankly, they are the establishment.
One quite interesting thing about these big tech companies, and then for that matter, any company, if the company weren't to be in America, it wouldn't be what it is. Like Facebook wouldn't have been Facebook had this not been for America, and so is Twitter, so is Google, so is whatever it is. But in spite of this, when they go to China, they have almost zero entry and zero presence. And here there is a man who is fighting for their rights. I think most of these regulations that he fought for, and then what is he's imposing on China, the intellectual property rights, they are much going to benefit only these big companies. And he's trying to make the level playing ground even in China by letting these Googles and other guys enter in a big way in China, which is the only country these guys are threatened to go. These guys are unable to go. So in spite of that, what could be the reason that these big tech companies are against Trump? Okay, Republican Party, Conservative Party. Conservatism is not harming anybody. And they have seen communism is hurting a lot of people. They themselves are unable to enter into China because of communism and then leftmost principles. Your ideas, we can start with Dave. Before Kentucky is also, I think, about 13%. Then Trump is heading in Kentucky as expected. Go ahead, Dave.
Trump is, yeah. Just before that, Trump is also heading in New Hampshire and South Carolina, as I see it here. Okay, so these big tech companies dare not speak a word against China, a country that they have been allowed entry from. And not just that, they are not even neutral about China. They are evidently, I mean, very, very pro-China. Very, very pro-China. And then I'll tell you a very interesting fact. I live in India, and Facebook as a company is not allowed to operate inside of China, but Chinese media houses have run ads worth billions of dollars on Facebook. And that is—
Dave, you are speaking aloud about them. Make sure that you are not silenced. Go ahead. I'm just joking.
Right. And that tells you about the kind of policies that, I mean, the kind of flimsy policies and make-believe trash that the big tech companies have in the name of policies. So you're allowed to run the advertisements of media houses and state-owned. By the way, all of those Chinese media houses are state-owned. So they run ads by those media houses from a country where they are even not allowed to operate on a mass scale. That is the level of control of information that these guys hope to exercise, and they will exercise it once they have a free hand, even in America. That is how grave the danger is.
Trishul, any ideas of what should and would happen if Trump wins elections to these big tech companies, and then if Biden wins, what would happen?
Well, if Biden wins, forget it. Not only America, but the whole world is going to suffer, because this election is not just about United States national security, but it's a national security threat for the whole world. For example, if Biden wins, he's going to support Pakistan and China, and we're going to have to be fighting two wars together. You know, Kamala Harris's husband is a CCP lawyer, Chinese Communist Party lawyer. I don't know if you know, Krishna Garu, like a couple of years ago, they had that movie Rockstar. Remember that movie Rockstar? Mm-hmm. And in that movie, in one of the scenes, there was one guy who was wearing Free Tibet shirt. Free Tibet. Mm-hmm. And the Chinese Communist Party captured that and influenced our government in India to delete that scene. They're very, very sensitive people. I mean, they cannot take criticism. So as far as I'm concerned, you want to win the war with China, you don't need boots on the ground. It doesn't have to be kinetic war. Just make fun of them, and we will win the war. You know, so if Biden wins, China wins. If Biden wins, Pakistan wins. You know, Trump is the only president who is supporting Prime Minister Modi and India and on the Kashmir issue. Kamala Harris with George Soros, and George Soros' son already said that Prime Minister Modi is a criminal. So Kamala Harris and President Biden's team consists of a pro-Pakistani lobbying group. So it is very important not only for United States and its national security, but just in the world. China has been what is a wolf warrior diplomacy. That means you know, they're bullying all the countries in the world. So every country is looking at this election because of China. That's why this election is so different from any other election, because China is an existential threat to humanity.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you think that because of this Monopoly Act, is it good that for country as well as the world, that this company should be subdivided into smaller entities so that they will not threaten the free speech, humanity, and then First Amendment, First Amendment, and things like that? Should it be done as Senator Ted Cruz always says?
I don't think so. I think that in order to fight these big tech companies, we need to have other platforms which combat Facebook. We need to have another Twitter. You know, so because at the end of the day, you know, we cannot impose rules on private institutions. You know, according to United States law, corporations are considered as individuals. So I feel like you know, putting more regulations on them is not the thing, because already too much political correctness, too much cancel culture and all that is there. Remember, Alex Jones has been deplatformed, and so many other people have been deplatformed. So if you suggest that we need to put more regulations, that means we're gonna
no, not regulations, like dividing these companies into smaller entities so that their power to control things will lessen.
If you break the companies, I mean, how will it help? I'm not sure, because the person, if for example Jack Dorsey is there of Twitter, you break Twitter, that guy is still the head, and he's still going to have an influence on these things. I think the solution is we got to have a better instead of Twitter, we should have another kind of a thing, and some entrepreneurs should look into it. Competition is the key. Not.
Do you think others did not try? Maybe Dave has a story about others who tried to imitate Twitter and then Facebook. So go ahead, Dave.
Of course, and it is a very sad story. So I know somebody by the name of Mr. Torba, Andrew Torba. He is the founder of Gab.ai. So it is an alternative to Twitter. And then now Mr. Andrew Torba's life today is a living hell. Visa card will not endorse or will not have Mr. Torba as their customer, and not just him, his entire family. Now this guy, the deep state went so after him that this guy had to relocate his home 4 or 5 times already. He is in fear about the lives of his children. So this is, I mean, in the ideal America, Twitter should have had 100 competitors by now. It's not that magical technology that it could thrive by its own all this time. So if you look at Gab.ai and what happened to them, now one thing is they are a free speech absolutist platform. So apart from that debate, aside from that, I think that I am in favor of regulations on these big tech companies to the point where none of their policies can be contrary to federal laws. I mean, this is very basic. For example, the Second Amendment, they cannot have policies which are in direct contrast to the law of the land. I think somebody like a Trump can and should enforce at least that much.
Okay, Vermont is projected as Biden is winning in Vermont as expected. Georgia, 37%. Florida, Biden is 58% in 56% of votes. Trump is trailing by 2%. Okay. So now let me play a video which is quite interesting about the situation of the people and then the security, what they are fearing in today's evening. Okay, 1 second.
Too soon for sales data, but when gun shops are seeing lines that stretch outside the store, it suggests that riots are prompting some people to protect themselves with firearms. Action News reporter Bob Brooks is live in Center City, Philadelphia. And Bob, what are you seeing tonight?
Well, Jim, I'll tell you what I think is sad is so many of these people for the first time are going to have to buy a gun. They don't have any gun training, but they are so fearful someone's going to come barging into their house. They now think they need a gun. Now, for some of the businesses here in Center City, they've opted to board things up, or if you have the money and you're a restaurant, maybe you hired some armed guards outside. The line stayed consistent at about a dozen deep today. These people were buying guns and ammo at Founding Fathers Outfitters off Ridge Pike. In the words of Sal Salhai of North Philadelphia,
if somebody walks in my house, he's done. That's the only thing I can say.
He says last night crowds did break into his neighbor's property, and he's got a little girl at home.
My daughter is sleeping upstairs in the next room. It's not about watching anything. What you see on the TV is a bunch of mess. But when you see it in real life, that's what's scary.
Also in the crowd was Henry Zhang. He lives in West Philadelphia, near much of the chaos yesterday.
They're burning down people's houses to get to stores.
He says he's buying a gun today, but prays to God he doesn't have to use it.
The implication is it's a gun. And if somebody comes into the house, what am I going to do?
We also met a man named John who works in private security. And after the last 2 days, he's bulking up his arsenal.
Definitely because of what I witnessed the last couple of days.
And the owner says his guns, meant for law-abiding citizens, almost fell into the wrong hands 2 nights ago.
Try to bash in our front door. Unfortunately for them, we have special glass.
Also tonight at 17th and Packer Avenue, residents were armed with assault rifles and baseball bats. In the Italian market, we saw armed security that's been hired to patrol. And as a last line of defense, businesses all over the city are boarding up. Well, the ones that weren't already boarded up from the pandemic. The riots seem to have now put the finishing touches on some of the city's last remaining economic engines.
Yeah, that's it about people are buying guns and then stocking guns, again boarding up. So what's going to happen to this country? Trishul.
I think, people are very fearful, about the situation, what's going on. If Biden wins, everything will be okay. People are not going to riot and everything. But if Trump wins, the left-wing radical people are going to get on the streets and create havoc. The left-wing people, left-wing radicals keep saying that Trump is now going to leave the White House if he loses. No, it's the other way around. They're always projecting, psychologically projecting their own inner demons onto others. I think if Trump loses, he will leave. I mean, he has no choice. I mean, he's a good sport. I personally feel he's beyond his rhetoric, what he says. He's concerned about voter fraud. I mean, 99 million mail-in votes, mail-in ballots, 55 million absentee ballots. That's almost 155 votes that are through mail. So he's concerned about that. But the biggest threat to the United States is not Trump and the conservatives. It is, as evidence in the past, is the left wing. Left wing people are more destructive to this nation than the right wing people. Have you seen any Proud Boys destroying a property? I haven't seen any Proud Boys or white supremacists destroying property. All I saw is the destruction of property is coming from the left wing. So yes, I can understand the sentiment that they have to buy guns and everything. It's a little overdone, but United States is the only country you can own guns and be free. This is so I'm glad they're exercising their Second Amendment right.
Not a pleasant sight. I'd agree with Trishul there in saying that this is not a pleasant sight, the one we just saw. I mean, and it also goes on to tell you that people, the peaceful American people, the average guy who goes to work, who has a kid at home, will not take it lying down anymore. Everybody has been on that brink of frustration now. Rioting and looting on the streets cannot be the way. And then I also agree with Trishul when he says that this is going to be the definite outcome of a Trump win, not so much a Biden win, because the radical left cannot handle anything or any situation that is beyond their will. So which also goes on to show their complete disbelief in democracy, like there would be in any communist country in the world.
Mm-hmm. There's always been a question to Trump, but they don't seem to ask the same question to Biden or his surrogates. The question is, okay, do you concede the defeat if you do not win? That is the question they ask. But the same question is not asked again. I'm revisiting the question because this is of paramount importance in today's election outcome. We have seen what happened in 2016 when Hillary Clinton does not have guts to accept her defeat, and then the same thing is percolated to her followers, and then they kept on going on the street saying that he is not my president. And ever since, there were a lot of protests, and the protests have become more fearsome protests, and then they become rioting and looting at some point of time, and then they were not agreeing to Donald Trump is their president. Okay, so if, well, let's say for suppose if Biden wins, will the same thing happen again? Biden is not my president kind of protest will be there. Trishul.
I mean, if Biden wins, I mean, that's possible. I mean, we can never say if it'll happen or not. But according to evidence, just from seeing the past, it's a left wing who's creating all this riots and destruction of property. It's not the right wing. I don't know one instance where the right wing destroyed businesses or anything like that. So I think if Biden wins, I don't think there will be any riots or anything. I think the right wing will accept. It's a democratic, free world, free country. So they will accept the outcome of the thing. But if the left wing, if the right wing wins, if President Trump wins, already there's evidence to show that they will not accept his. They will not accept his victory. So the problem is not the right wing. The problem here is the left wing.
Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. What's going to happen if Biden is going to win to China and then US relations, Dave?
Before I comment about a Biden win, I must say that Trump has been the best US president to India, period. There is not a single US president who has been a greater friend or more friendly to India than Donald J. Trump. And if Biden wins, India will have its worst enemy, not across the border, but inside of the White House. Biden is so pro-China that even China is not so pro-China as Biden is. I don't know how bad that sounds, but that's how bad it is. China is a little friendlier to India when you compare it to the likes of Biden, and then the real deal is Kamala Harris. She is again as anti-India, as pro-Pakistan. Like Trishul commented earlier that her husband is actually a Chinese Communist Party lawyer. Now you cannot have more brazenness. They are not secretive about these deals anymore. They are pretty brazen about how really anti-India they are.
Trishul.
Yes. So, I'm going to just, let's see if I can do a screen share here. This is very interesting. Let's see. Okay, here you go. Can you see it? Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, here. This is a Twitter account of George Soros's son, who's Alexander Soros. Says, "Thank you, Senator Kamala Harris. Each statement truly reassures us that we are not alone in the fight against India's crimes, actions, and atrocities in Kashmir. It takes a great deal of courage to stand up against injustice, but even more when injustice is being done by a nation that happens to be an ally. Thank you again. Free Kashmir, in solidarity with Kashmir." Here's another one. Guess who's Kamala Harris? So basically, the Soros-run foundation called Open Societies funding an anti-India, anti-Hindu movement around the world, resulting in mass conversions in India. If you think she's a Hindu or Indian, you're fooled. Basically, that's what they're saying. But hold on.
No, she never claims anywhere that she is Indian descent. She always says she wants to identify herself with.
Of course, political reasons. She's an opportunistic. She's an opportunistic.
Only some sect of Indians are saying that, oh, she is Indian, let's support, and so on and so forth, which is not true.
Yeah. I mean, she is very opportunistic. I mean, her birth certificate, it doesn't say she's Indian American. It says she's African American. So she's, this Kamala Harris has been using identity politics to win elections all this time. Her mother is a Hindu. She is, and her father, I'm sure Krishna Garu, that her father has said that she should not use my name as an African American. He's a Jamaican. Okay, there is something known as African descent of what is that called? African descent, ADOS. It's called. She's not just like Obama. She's not. Her family has not gone through the persecutions of African American slavery here. She comes from a very rich minority in this country. Her mom is a professor, dad was a professor. So this is not the same thing as an African American who went through slavery. Their ancestors have gone through slavery. Kamala Harris's family owns 85 slaves in Jamaica. They used to, at least. 85 slaves in Jamaica. Very, very rich family. So she's just using identity politics to win the election. That's all.
We have spoken about Mrs. Soros speaking against India, against Hinduism. Just because we have visited that, and then if the left wing wins here, they are not going to be pro-India again. Why? My question to you is why nobody speaks about people who were displaced from Kashmir, like after the Second World War. People who were displaced long ago from Jerusalem, they created a country, and then they were given the land, and they called it as Israel. There were a lot of people who were displaced from Kashmir, Kashmiri Pandits. Why nobody in the world speaks about them? Why nobody in the world tells, now the Kashmiri Pandits are to be relocated to their own place? So what is the problem in telling so? Is George Soros, Kamala Harris, and so on and so forth? Why wouldn't they speak about this?
Well, because the media is left wing. The media does. The whole left wing narrative is globalization. They want to do good. They want to do. The problem with the left wing media is that they want to do good, but they don't want to do what is appropriate. At any cost, they want to do good. So they talk about the Kashmir issue and everything. They say, oh, minorities are being suppressed and stuff like that. But what is actually happening over there? I mean, Islam is a fascist religion. I respect Islam. I practice Islam in my life. My best friends are Muslims. But the way the Wahhabi Islam, the way it's been practiced around the world and it's been spread around the world is a fascist. You know what is happening in France. They drew cartoons of Prophet Muhammad, and now they beheaded 2 people and they killed other people. So if you want to do it in your country, that's fine. But what right do you have to come to a Western country and impose your Sharia law onto the Western people? Islam is a beautiful religion if it's practiced well, but you cannot impose this ideology on the West. Come on, this is ridiculous. So why hasn't Kashmir been in the news? Because majority, 90% of the news, even in India, is left wing. They want to do good. They want to say, okay, minorities, we got to protect them. Their intentions are good, but they're not mentally clear. They're not seeing reality the way it is. You have to, at the ground level, you got to see. So as far as I'm concerned, the left-wing people are very confused individuals. And I'm surprised because I'm not a politically oriented person 4 years ago. This is the first time I'm seeing the people who are thinking clearly have become right-wing, and the left-wing people have become ideologues, basically.
Dave.
2 points about this. The first is George Soros, Open Society, and all of its tentacles, all of the organizations in which Open Society invests, all of them are clear and open enemies of the Indian state. When you're enemies of 80% of the Indian population, you have to be declared an enemy of the state as well. So that's what they are doing. They hate Hindus. They have been very vocal about it. In fact, they are not hiding their true intentions anymore. And then Open Society threat is not just through the parent organization. They have invested in organizations like Wikipedia. That's how powerful they are, and that's how influential they are. They are not persuasive. However, they are very, very influential. Now that's about George Soros. And about Kashmir, the interesting situation is the Muslim man in Kashmir is still called a minority when he is in clear majority in the state. And now the problem with the situation right now is that, Article 370 was abrogated, and then there was certain clause inside it which were twisted to make it, to nullify it effectively. However, I know, and Trishul knows that no Hindu man, no Hindu family now can go there and settle there just like that. Just because the government made it legal to buy land there, you cannot go there. Because all of us want our heads on our shoulders still. So changing the law does not change the reality on the ground.
But at least at some point of time, somebody has started this. Maybe it takes years or more than tens of years to actually people feel, okay, let me go to Kashmir. And I still remember in my 7th grade or 8th grade, I used to talk about, read about Dal Lake. Oh, it's so nice a lake and it's a holiday spot and so on and so forth. I don't think nobody would ever go there. No, because anyway, we are touching upon Kamala and Biden. Let me play a small video after the break and then let us come back. 1 second.
To the jobs you want and everything in between. Find jobs on Easy Jobs.
Thank you, Easy easy jobs.
Senator Harris, you have also been quite critical of Vice President Biden's policies on race, specifically on the issue of busing in the 1970s, having benefited from busing when you were a young child. Vice President Biden says that your current position on busing, you're opposed to federally mandated busing, that position is the same as his position. Is he right?
That is simply false. And let's be very clear about this. When Vice President Biden was in the United States Senate working with segregationists to oppose busing, which was the vehicle by which we would integrate America's public schools, had I been in the United States Senate at that time, I would have been completely on the other side of the aisle. And let's be clear about this. Had those segregationists their way, I would not be a member of the United States Senate, Cory Booker would not be a member of the United States Senate, and Barack Obama would not have been in a position to nominate him to the title he now holds. And so on that issue, we could not be more apart, which is that the Vice President has still failed to acknowledge that it was wrong to take the position that he took at that time.
So far apart. So far apart. How can they come on together on a ticket, first thing? And now Trump has already won 11 congressional, 11 electoral votes as on now. Okay. CNN is showing somewhere around 260 for sure for Trump. Let's see what's going to happen. Before that, again, we were talking in terms of what happens if Biden wins and what happens if Trump wins. So that is our main topic. So if Biden wins, what will happen to this president and vice president? Will Biden ever let her make any decisions, or will Kamala Harris will take over the whole mantle of presidentship and then he will just be a puppet? Dave.
Of course, this person, Biden, this is not a official clinical diagnosis, but this person is senile. It's very obvious. He doesn't remember anything. So if Biden wins, Kamala Harris is going to be our next president. The moment she wins, she'll throw him out of the boat. So and then Kamala Harris and what's her name, Hillary Clinton and Obama, all these people will go back. Biden has he's senile. He has no intellectual capacity to process stuff. I'm not talking as a doctor. I'm just talking about as a layman. I mean, isn't it obvious that this person he's not out of his prime? So if Biden wins, oh my God! I mean, this is a travesty. If America elects President Biden next, this is a travesty. Yeah, I mean, if President Trump, he just defeated COVID within 3 days like that, and now he's done in 3 days 14 rallies. He has an energy of like a 25-year-old person. This is the kind of leader we need to have. Not this guy who stays in the basement and who's afraid. Even if there is no one, as you said, Krishna Garu in the last interview, even though there's no one there, he's wearing a mask. Well, I mean, common sense is not there. So if Biden wins, I'm telling you this, we're in big trouble.
Okay. So why you think Biden is as if he is a mask manufacturer, always projecting mask? And then one of the problem that I always found is in 2016, mainstream media has told that whether Trump is going to be presidential or Trump's health is good, things like that have came up, and luckily Clinton fell down on one of the afternoon. So the mainstream media shut up their mouth about Trump's health. And now when Biden is so weak, when Biden has so much of he looks as if he has dementia, why doesn't the media speak anything about him? Of
course, they're trying to, They're trying to make him look as fit as Usain Bolt, but the truth cannot be any more far from that. And the fact that he is so incoherent, generally, even when he's not lying or being deliberately dishonest, he is very incoherent as a speaker. He has no control over the figures he says. His millions become billions, and then they get tossed into the galaxy all the time. It happens all the time. This person is not fit to be the president of even, the smallest country in the world. Forget about the US.
Even he's not fit to be president of nursing homes. Forget about this country.
Yeah, while we are speaking, Joe Biden picked up 3, whereas Trump picked up 11. Okay, go ahead.
Which state?
Vermont.
Okay.
Dave, if Biden wins, who is going to control who, or is he able to control Harris, or Harris will have her own policies dictated to Biden?
So what I believe very honestly is that Biden will not be a real president. First of all, how long, if he wins, if and only if he wins, how long will he be president is a matter of immense speculation. I thought that he would have dropped out of the presidential race even before the elections. Now that has not happened. He'll definitely be a only face value president for a while before ultimately being taken down for quote unquote strictly health reasons. And then the reins will be firmly in the hands of Kamala Harris, and then God forbid, even the squad, which is a doomsday, which is frankly a doomsday scenario for both America and India.
Yes.
So what will happen if Trump wins? How he is going to take forward his principles?
Well, if Trump wins again, there's no restrictions anymore on him. He's going to be a wild person, because already he's been fighting the establishment. He's been fighting the mainstream media, the national security, NSA, CIA, FBI. He's the only president who fought against them. This is the swamp that he's trying to drain. Just imagine, tell me another president in the history of this country which blatantly went against the establishment, the elite, the richest people in this world. Everyone in this country and the world are against him. I tell you, either God's hand is on his shoulder or something else is going on, because there is no way that any other person with this much criticism on a daily, minute by minute basis, he will get under the bed and hide. This is something that is amazing. So I feel that if President Trump wins, watch out big tech media. If President Trump wins, watch out mainstream media. If President Trump wins, watch out Wall Street, because Wall Street he has done so much for Wall Street, and Wall Street went against him. So all I say is, I hope President Trump wins, and these powerful people better watch out, because this is going to be a whole different game after this.
The fact that the media has not been able to silence Donald Trump or even shake his morale goes to show how powerful an individual this person is. Whether president or not, it takes an individual of some kind of celestial magnitude, power, and say, to go after the deep state the way he has done.
Absolutely. Yes, I agree. 100% you're right.
And then, go ahead. And then he doesn't fret about it. He does it day in and day out, and he has done it and survived for 4 years as president. It's not a joke. Not many people realize the immense impossibility in the last 4 years. He has gone after central agencies. He has not gone after district people. These have been central agencies, and they have been in power across party lines, across the presidencies of different presidents. And he has shown the gumption to go after them all and to take them all on single-handedly.
There is a ego kind of a thing to the news media. they expect the leaders of the country want to listen to them, or they want to shape the leaders of the country, like CNN, CNBCs, and so on and so forth. And possibly Obama was made what he is by CNNs and other media. They were trying to cover his mistakes and trying to project what he is good at and so on and so forth. But probably they wanted to do the same thing with Trump, but Trump doesn't want to listen. So is it what there is? Is there any ego kind of a thing for media? Dev?
Yes, of course. Of course. I mean, that's why I say that there's nothing wrong with being a narcissist or egomaniacal, because, you know, as long as that narcissist egomaniacal is helping you, you know, is for you. These mainstream media and all these elite establishments are the most egotistical establishments in this country and in the world. So he has to, if you want him to fight these long-held establishments, he has to have an ego. Ego is good. People say, oh, he's narcissistic and everything. What do you expect? You want him to be a saint? Oh, if you want a saint, go elect the Pope. You know, this is not the, you know, he's the most powerful person in the world. He's the most powerful army.
That is precisely what they want. They want the most powerful person to heed to them. They want most powerful person to listen to them. The most powerful person to behave as they dictate in way.
Exactly. Yes. That's why. And he says no. Political correctness. He says no. Cancel culture. This is one president you cannot cancel. One president you cannot, do political correctness with him. So I'm glad he's abrasive. He is aggressive. Let him be the way he is, because he is fighting establishments for hundreds of years. He has to break them apart. So in order to break apart, you want to have compassion, love. He is not a president of some island like New Zealand or Taiwan. This guy, he is the president of the United States of America, which is the global power in this country. You have to have an ego. But is the ego benefiting the country or not is the question. And I think the reason he has that big ego is because he is trying to help the American people.
No, my thing is not Trump has ego. I'm talking about the media, supposed to be fourth estate of democracy. Do they feel egoistic because Trump is the person who doesn't want to listen the way they want to project Trump? That's what is the question. They to you. Let Dev talk.
Okay.
So 2 words, fake news. Now, the moment Trump said these 2 words, he beat the mainstream media at their own game and other games to come. So he delegitimized their professional credentials with those 2 words. He called them fake news. He kept calling them fake news. And then to a point that it actually stuck. You would have never imagined that somebody would assault the media that way and get away with it. From a psychological point of view, the average American now believes that, yes, CNN peddles fake news. They have been the perpetrators of agendas for a long while, but fake news is something so serious that it stuck to them. And then now Trump has been winning fights with them, especially with the new press secretary, Ms. McEnany. Haley McEnany, I believe her name is, but she has taken on the bandwagon, and then she has kept bashing these media people left and right. And yes, you're right about the fact that their ego came into this big time, and they could not come to terms with the fact that somebody has done this. Ultimately, somebody has done this to them. Somebody has alienated the people. Somebody has built a wall between the people and the mainstream media of this country.
Yes.
Okay. You are talking about Kelly McEnany. I think she is one of the greatest person as far as press secretaries so far we have seen. Oh my God, what courage she has! Amazing courage. Okay, we have actually 1 minute, and then we don't know yet. The Florida is going neck and neck, 49.5% and 49.5%, with just hundreds of votes difference between these 2 people. Let's hope for what is good for this country. And then your final remarks, Trishul.
Yes, thank you, Krishnagar. So my final remarks is this, that whoever wins, whether it's President Biden or Vice President Biden or President Trump, the thing is, the next president, we got to respect the office of the president, you see, because if we don't respect the elected leaders, then how can you expect Russia, China, and everyone else to respect our leader? No, we can't. You see Colbert and all these Bill Maher shows constantly making fun of the president, and they did that to Obama also. So we need to respect the office of the presidency. Whoever wins, it's okay. Nothing is going. If you are sad and depressed before, you will be sad and depressed after the election. If you're a happy, joyful person,
you have 10 seconds, sir. We are closing up. Another program is coming, Trishul. Thanks for your remarks. Dave, your remarks.
Sure. I think, and I still hope that Trump wins. That's my final remark. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Trishul, and then John, who left. And then we see the Spotlight. Thanks for all the viewers who are supporting Spotlight, and thanks my team. We are going to come once in a week from now onwards. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Dave.
Hey, Trishul. Nice meeting you.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Where are you, Dave? Where are you living?
I live in Bengal right now because of the lockdown, but I used to work in Hyderabad before this, right?
Hyderabad?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Give me your email address or Facebook or something. We'll keep in touch.
Sure. I'll do it right now.
Yeah.
Where are you from, Trishul?
I'm originally from Andhra Pradesh. My mom is from Warangal. My dad is from Kadapa, Palavandala. But I grew up in the United States from 89 since I was 9-10 years old. Yeah. So.
Great listening to you.
Yeah. You had very good points. I was amazed. I was surprised, actually. Very good points. Yeah.
Same with you.
Okay.
I'll give you my Facebook here on Zoom.
Okay. I'm new to Zoom.
I hope we are not live still. I'm sure we are not live.
Yeah. Dave Gupta. Okay, I got it. Let me see if I got it. Okay, Facebook has banned me from.
Yeah, how did that happen?
Yeah. So how do I send? Okay, Dave. I cannot add because they banned me. So I'll just give you. Let me see. Ready. 423-737-748. Okay, somehow send me like a text message or something, and I will try to add you, and we'll keep in touch.
Sure.
Okay, did you get my message like on the thing?
Yeah. It is 423-737-7489, right?
Yeah. Just give me like a text or something. Somehow I'll add you, and we'll keep in touch.
Sure. We'll do that.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Nice meeting you.
Bye, Trishul. Great speaking to you.
Bye. Same here.